and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Bailey? Here. Trustee Dilbert?
Here.
Trustee Guerrero? Here. Trustee Noto?
Here.
Trustee Perpoli?
Here.
Trustee Suchi?
Here.
Trustee Mike? President Myson?
Here.
Treasurer Nolan Dilbert? Here. And Clerk Witzit this year.
Approval of the agenda. I do have one item that I'd like to add. We'll add after new business, just a legal update from Attorney Addis.
In open session.
In open session legal
So
update.
after this legal update? Under-
Yeah, we'll just call it new business. Yeah, legal update. That'll be easier for it to do. Does anybody have any amendments they'd like to see? Motion order.
Make a motion to accept the agenda as presented with the added item.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Public comment on the agenda?
I just like to speak on the smart piece. Is that okay? I just wanted to iterate on the smart funds that was given away to Lennox Township a year ago. Then I would ask that this village really look at not giving Lennox Township any funds that was given to smart for this year that Parks and Recreation has always used and could continue to use with their bus trips and whatnot. And rumor has it that they're wanting it again and wanting some other parts of it. I encourage this board. We have always used smart funds here in the village. We went out years ago, and I can remember when Fred Barbarette was there, back when John Hertel was there, Dan Durst there, they come to New Haven and they want us to go out and knock on doors and beat doors down to get the people in the village to vote, to get the smart funds going. And they continuously today, you know, now that, I mean, I think now that they do is just a renewal on the villages. And the village of New Haven pay a smart tax, we should get that money. We should spend that money here in the village. Lennox Township, and that's the benefit of us being there in Lennox Township. We get the service from Lennox Township and we get the service from the village. Any service that Lennox Township get, residents of the village of New Haven should get. And that's why that's not very important.
Any other public comment on the agenda? All right, seeing none, approval of minutes. First, we have the ZBA hearing minutes for Ann Street, property on Ann Street from August 8th, 2023.
Make a motion to accept the CBA hearing minutes as presented.
Second.
Been moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Next, we have the council meeting minutes, August 8th, 2023.
Make a motion to accept the August 8th council meeting minutes as presented.
Support.
Moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Consent agenda.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Payment of bills, treasurer's report.
Approval of August 2023 payroll of $161,605.39, and bills to be paid for September 2023, $306,931, for a total of $468,505.07.
I have a question on bills to be paid. It's just something I happened to notice. Our garbage and rubbish fund went from $100,000 to 80, so we lost about 103 to 79, so we lost about $25,000 in 1 month, which is a quarter of the fund. And I'm looking at the year-to-date, and that's about what the shortfall is for that. Does GFL do an annual one time in August where they take their,
No.
that's at 25% of the entire fund in 1 month? I'm wondering what,
Yeah, that one, I
I
know
was
that
hoping
we,
Sandy's gonna be here.
yeah, unfortunately, she has a doctor's appointment that she has to prepare for tomorrow.
Because I'm looking at the year-to-date balance on the fund itself, and it shows about a $23,000 shortfall at this time, year-to-date. And it looks like August, in August.
It looks like if you look at the check register, 2 bills were paid, so either July's got paid in August, and then August got paid in August, but there's 2 payments to GFL in August, so that might be what it is. Maybe it was booked, the expense was booked in 1 month, but double paid, or the revenue was booked, but it was double paid.
July, we had, didn't we have, I think we had some vacations and whatnot that pushed one of the weeks back.
Right.
So
So
that might
it's
be-
just possible that the 2 bills hit in the same month.
So we had 1 income and 2 expenses, basically.
Yes, that's what it's looking like in the check register.
Because I know we've been absorbing the cost for quite a while now, the increases from the, yeah, so, okay.
Yeah, looking at the prior month, there was no expense.
All right, that works for me. I was wondering, I saw that, just happened to notice it, the question is,
Yeah, good catch. When I do the invoice approval every week, I don't necessarily remember that, oh, I already did one
yeah.
a couple weeks ago. All right, so I think we have moved and, did we have moved and supported? No. All right. Motion to approve.
I move that we pay the bills in the amount of $468,505.70.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. I always forget, roll call or?
Yes.
Yeah, roll
Just
call.
roll call.
Yeah, roll call, please.
Money is roll call.
Yeah, no, I, for whatever reason, it was. Roll call, please.
Trustee Burkholder?
Yes.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Nona?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero?
Yes.
Trustee Sushi?
Yes.
President Dyson?
Yes. Treasurer's report.
Total village assets of $6,947. $6,947,134.79.
I'll move that we receive and file the treasurer's report as presented.
Support. Roll call. All in favor? All opposed? I'm off this morning, this evening, not just the morning. All right, communication clerk.
Items for the October agenda are due by the end of September, please.
All right, thank you. Planning Commission, Trustee Dilbert.
The planning commission met last week. The one item we had on our agenda was a preliminary site plan approval for Redwood Apartments, which went really well. They made a presentation and answered a lot of questions, and they were peppered with a lot of questions. So, just the first step, and then they'll come back with their final site plan. But it looks like it's a really impressive project that I think we'll be really fortunate to receive.
Anything else?
And if you don't know the particulars, they're proposing a 106-unit complex, either 2 bath with attached garages. And it's overall for Roselle, it's on the south side of Carl Street.
Cut through the main also or no?
Hill.
We'll have
Okay.
Yeah, between Roselle and Gulf. And it's on the south side of Carl, behind the homes on Carl Street. There's 18, I think about 18-acre parcel there where they're proposing.
Yeah, from sturdy grinding in Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I'm really excited for that project. Okay, Parks and Rec report, Trustee Guerrero.
So last month, we just set a lot of dates into place to be more proactive and letting our residents know about what's going on. And Jen's been really awesome posting things ahead in advance now, so we got all that taken care of. So that should be on the website. I don't have dates on it unfortunately, but they're on the site.
Yeah, she's been doing a great job. It was actually kind of funny. I saw she posted one of our Christmas events.
Alrighty, I know.
And somebody replied, it's only September.
That's all right.
We're being proactive.
Yes.
Yeah, and we also have the Franklin Trucks.
Yes, that was what was passed on.
Yeah, that was really good.
And then we have Halloween weekends coming up next month, so we can sign up for that. So it's October 1st, they have up until, so, yeah.
All right, under unfinished business, we have ordinance 260, the amendment for non-conforming lot splits. This was shared in last month's meeting. We have the public review period. Any questions or comments on the ordinance?
What is that other new ordinance number?
Yes, 401.
There's no questions, motion on the order?
I'll move to adopt ordinance 401, an amendment to section 2103B of ordinance 260.
Support. Been moved and supported. Any questions on the discussion? Or any discussion on the motion? All right, roll call please.
Trustee Foley?
Yes.
Trustee Gilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Dombrowski?
Yes.
Trustee Nona?
Yes.
Trustee Suchy?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero? Yes. President Meissner?
Yes. All right, new business. First up, we have the smart funding request. So as we had in the email, there was a PDF file that had all the information in there. As you know, this is funding that we are credits that we get, both municipal and community credits. Chief White,
I would like to address the public comment from earlier and just let everyone know that Lennox Township and all the others that participate, those funds do come to Richmond Lennox, so they're not being taken out of just Richmond Lennox funds. They are being funded by the individual communities that participate.
Each need to be a few minutes late coming in. I come before you just about every year now, Phil, since 1999, when we started operating a small bus service here in cooperation with SMART, to address the issues of funding. As the village president pointed out, SMART provides communities what they call credits, which for the rest of us are dollars, if you will, in order for us to provide transportation services within these community areas. The service, the funds come from two different sources at SMART, just as a little bit of background. One is called municipal credits. They come from the state of Michigan, and they're come from the Act 51 funding. Unfortunately, those dollars haven't changed well, I was on the phone with SMART's CFO today, and it's been a couple of decades since they've changed that amount. So for about 2 decades, we've received the same amount of municipal credits that we will this year again. The community credits are a calculation that SMART decides on down within their board. And they are based on a portion of the millage that all of our taxpayers pay for SMART. And they return those to the community for the purpose of providing these various public transportation services. This past, and so that's how the funding is derived and how we get it back to here. You are in kind of a consortium, a partnership, not only with Richmond Mine CMS, but with 10 other communities, 11 communities in total, that use their municipal community credits to make certain that these little vehicles operate. Believe me, for the total of $20,000, give or take a buck, that New Haven receives annually, if not for Macomb Township paying $200,000, you would not get service. I don't think you would operate a vehicle, pay a driver, and provide those services on your own for $20,000 alone. The Village of New Haven ridership stayed about even from 2021 to 2022. We don't have the 2023 numbers yet, we're not through that part of the year. At about 1,200 riders right about there. So really no big change in ridership. The significant change that we saw last year was not only the same inflation that is painful to all of us, whether it's you filling up your own car at the gas station or if you're in business, you're paying employees. We felt all that pain as well. But the significant pain that we felt within the transit operation was in the area of our insurance. In last year, last September, our insurance premium rate, the 11 buses that we have, was $21,839. This year, our renewal came in at $69,011, a $47,000 increase. We went to other insurance carriers that work in the municipal market. That's we buy our insurance just like you do in the municipal market. And this was the best price we could come up with. What we were told is that we're in a hard insurance market right now. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but that we were told that the underwriters have also determined at most of these agencies that community transit is a high risk because we have multiple people on a bus, and if that gets hit, it's not like hitting a car with 1 or 2 people in it, it's like hitting a bus with 10 people. So that's the reason they made that increase. An issue is with the increased funding even that we received from SMART this year, which if I put all of your communities together was about $17,000. Going into my budget, I'm $30,000 short of what I was last year to effort to provide the same service. And we didn't touch any of the other inflationary costs that are there. So I share all that simply to say, we're here to request, the municipal and community credit dollars that we get. There are folks in every community that would like to see some of those funds go to charter bus trips for, recreation programs and all of that. There's nothing wrong with those trips. In fact, I think it's good when communities can do that. But what I need council to understand is if you want money for charter bus trips, take it, use it. It's your community. I don't own the EMS, I don't own SMART. But then when you call and say, I really need to help us with this trip, or we've got this little old lady who really has no other way to get to dialysis, and we say no, and they say, why? I kind of have to send them back to you. That's just the reality of budget. I can only spend what you give me, and I'll provide service at whatever level of funds the council chooses. And glad. So that's kind of where we're at. So I thank you for your consideration tonight, and would be happy to answer any questions if that's all right with the chair.
Any questions?
Yes, I have one. How much are we due for municipal, and how much are we due for?
I'm sorry, I have those numbers for you right here, Mr. Gilbert. So the municipal credits, those are the ones that haven't moved a lot, are $5,709. That's the municipal credits, those funds that come from the state that I mentioned. And community credits are, $8,810. So your total is $14,519 this year. That was a $420 increase total over last year.
What's all the other communities?
Right.
Any other questions?
I have one question, and that is, have we been denied service for anything?
No.
Or can we?
Say, all I get is compliments.
I'm just addressing the public comment,
Yeah.
because that sounds like we're losing something, so that's why I want to know, have we been denied transportation for anything?
So when we give up the community credits, and give them to the Smart, basically what that means is that any charter bus trips that we take moving, forward here, are village funded. We wouldn't be able to reach out to Smart for reimbursement, that's really all it means.
Okay, which I know that, so, but we haven't been denied any use.
Any bus trips or anything from the, Parks and Rec standpoint?
Yeah.
No, because you're taking it out of general fund.
Could-
But when you take it out of, when you take it from
Right.
Smart, they're like we supposed to do, hey, and you let them run that game on you like that.
The fact of the matter is, up until last year,
Right.
we retained a portion of this money to reimburse ourselves to reimburse it from Smart for our bus trips. Okay? For some reason, we gave it all away last year, and I don't think we should give it all away. Okay? Because right now, in general fund, we just did Franklin Move, we just did 2 Tiger trips.
One Tiger trip.
Where else?
We had the one Tiger trip, we had, because the first one got canceled.
No,
Did it?
no, I wouldn't vote for it.
Oh, I couldn't make it, that's why.
I got this.
Okay, yeah, two Tiger trips, we had a Cedar Point trip.
Franklin Move, and those bus trips right here probably total close to $4,000.
Okay,
Each or in total? Each or in total for all?
Total. You know,
But I would like to point out, the trip to Cedar Point would not be covered under Smart Funds because it's going out of state.
right, and I'm not in favor of the trip to Cedar Point. I hope Parks and Rec cancel that. We should stay within the state of Michigan, stay within the area that Smart Funds will reimburse us for. Once we get out of our target area, then they don't, we have to.
Yeah, Macomb, Oakland, Wayne County, they're trying to use, rate use. that.
But like on the community side, we can stay within the state of Michigan and we're covered. But on the municipal side, we have to stay within that tri-county area.
right. So, you're on Parks and Rec, without looking it up, are you guys spending your whole budget?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I have a quick question though, because like when we had, I think, correct me if I'm wrong though, when we asked for smart buses, I think it was last year or whatnot, isn't there a certain capacity of passengers you can have?
So this is where, there's, I think, a little bit of confusion. So we have 11 buses that we operate. About 8 of them leave the building every morning. We have provided trips to communities, especially on evenings and weekends, where we've sent them 3 or 4 of those buses. The buses only come, they claim to be a 14-passenger bus. They're about 10 passengers comfortably. So if a Parks and Rec group calls us and says they need to move 40 people on a Saturday,
Okay,
we send them 4 buses.
okay.
So we are able to do that. Now, they're about as comfortable as a school bus. They're not a charter vehicle. They're not, they don't have big comfy plush seats. They don't have a restroom in them for longer trips. But they get people from point A to point B, and we've done that. We do about 30,000 trips a year, so I can tell you never where we do trips anymore. But I believe we've done some of those here, in the village, where we've provided multiple buses for an event to go somewhere.
That's been a while because
We could get this confirmed, but I think that if you're going to withhold any money, it can't, I do not believe any longer it can be from the municipal credit side. It all has to come from the community credit side. It really doesn't matter. We, as your local smart partner, can use from either. We use municipal or community for ours, but I believe that the charter type trips now, they want to come all off the community side. I think that's to do with some state rules, not ours, by the way. It's not Smart, it's not Richmond Lennox, so, you know, if you do decide to hold a few $1,000s back, to do that, again, I absolutely respect your decision. I would just do it on from that 8,801 account versus, and I just think it'll make it easier for you guys when you're reimbursement back. So,
Somebody had mentioned a moment ago, did we give trustee Dilbert, excuse me, I believe you mentioned that we gave the entire fund last year?
The previous council did.
Okay, okay.
I believe for the last several years.
Last year or two, I think you may have given it.
Prior to that,
There was a period of time when the village committee, like I said, been doing this for a pretty long time, would keep a couple of $1,000s back for their charter trips. And then there was a period of time, and maybe it was during COVID that people weren't doing charter trips, I don't know, but there was some period in there when then you started to turn everything over to us. But the big question that comes, again, for this council, is you guys have been pretty satisfied with what we do, and you get, I think, a lot, I seldom ever get an actual complaint on our service, so I can't even say I can think of one off the top of my head about the service we're providing.
Well,
And-
and myself and Smart, I can say that I never get complaints from Richmond.
And if we cut money back,
Still.
if every community cuts money back, you know, it's like death by 1,000 cuts, right? With 11 communities, if everybody decides to keep $3,000 back for charter bus service, that's $33,000. I just told you I'm $37,000 in the hole on insurance. Now I'm $70,000 in the hole. I'm about a $750,000 annual budget. So in your households, the question becomes, if you get cut by 10%, what do? Right? It cuts something out. And so this isn't like Jeff Waite threatening anybody, it's Jeff Waite telling you the facts of finance, if you will. And you understanding that if we end up with a 10% cut in our budget this year between some of these costs and what communities might propose, then we'll just reduce service by 10%.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's simply, it's just that simple.
Is there any thoughts on how you anticipate overcoming the $37,000 shortage, assuming we even receive the same amount of funds from all the communities?
But there is a very small amount of wiggle room in every budget you ever write. We don't write to the last penny that we have. So we think that we're not expecting that. It is not budgeted for. We think we can find some areas in which to overcome that. Smart is working with us, for instance, in one area to get us some newer vehicles. We have vehicles right now running with 300,000 miles on them. They take a lot more maintenance than a new vehicle. If we can, and we think those new vehicles are going to come about, when they come in, we should have some savings in our maintenance costs that will offset some of those.
We're having a terrible time getting vehicles.
Can you give us like a approximate or guesstimate of how much of our population of Maine even uses smart bus transportation right now?
You know, I don't have a good number for you, and I'd rather tell you that than make one up. You know, you've got certain people that use it multiple times, right? A person that needs dialysis care, that's just a really good example. It's the same person that uses the bus 3 times a week, you know, because they need to get to their dialysis appointment 3 times a week. But I don't have a breakdown of how many that.
But you do serve some here residents in the village to those type of appointments.
Oh, that's what all, like I say, those 1,200 rides are all your residents. So, you know, like I say, we do about 30,000 rides total across our 11 communities. So 1,200 of them are coming out of the village of Newton. And Lennox has its own count separate from yours. So you're not.
And we call them
You're not combined with Lennox Township.
And some of the, so I did have Sandy run a report for us, unfortunately she couldn't be here tonight, but since 2001, we've actually received $113,000 in reimbursement from SMART for all the charter bus trips that we've used. On average, from 2017 through 2022, now admittedly that is including COVID years where we weren't doing the charter bus trips and whatnot, that average reimbursement per year was $4,980. So about $5,000 per year. For years prior, 2012 to 2016, I'm not sure why she split it into these two groups. 2012 to 2016, it was an average of $7,300 per year that we were being reimbursed for bus trips. So to put into perspective of how much we were using the charter bus trips and the reimbursements and all that.
Well, and they're incredibly important for medical transport, for dialysis, and, you know, people who have to go get treatment. And I think that's the majority of what it's used for.
The sum of 14,519 across both municipal and community credits, is that the total sum of all funds available in this instance, or is the fund amount larger than that? Like,
That's all that's available.
that's everything that's available.
To New Hampshire.
Well, but you combine it, don't you?
We do need some other, we're able to get some other funds, so it's a bit of a complicated system, and I wish smart like finance people were here to explain it, but they take the funds that we receive from all of you, those, meaning all 11 communities. They total about $325,000. Somehow they give that back to the federal government, who doubles our money, and that's what gets us to a $750,000 operating budget. So our total budget is $750,000, about $325,000 comes out of the communities. So really, when you using that kind of an idea, if you take $3,000 back out, we're really losing $6,000 because we don't get the match money. We use all of your funds to hit a federal match, and the federal government matches all of your funds. We receive that back to get us up to that $750,000 budget for the 11 communities operation.
Any other questions?
So these funds, other than public transportation, what else would we be able to do with them? Or what would be other options? It's just strictly for public transportation?
That's my understanding. Again, I keep in mind that I work for Smart, I work for Lennox Township right up the road, but that is my understanding.
Correct. They have to be used for anything that's open to the public. They can be a senior trip, it can be a summer camp trip, it can be, you know, taking seniors to the grocery store. But it has to be something that's open to the public and available for everyone until it's full, and then they can use it. But, yeah, some communities do grocery shopping once a week. But, you know, it's high prices, things like that, so. I mean, there's a wide variety of things.
I think also you said that you can also transport to like the airport also, was that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, so I don't want to, I'm always careful about your time, but, you know, I can talk some about this if you like. But yes, we do the airport shuttle trip. It's been kind of, I think, wildly popular in the various communities. Part of the reason we started doing those, frankly,
Between 9 and 5.
is when I started to look at SMART and when the villages have to come up for renewal. We were doing an awful lot to support our seniors and disabled folks, and we were doing very little for the folks generally paying a lot of the taxes, the middle-aged folks with newer homes, what have you. So I personally had a real desire to offer something for the taxes that people are paying, and came up with this kind of crazy airport idea. And it has really taken off. It's a bad pun to say it's taken off, but generally, you know, that goes back and forth every day to Detroit Metro Airport from people from, you know, like I say, all 11 communities we serve. There's not a day. In fact, people are generally scheduling that about 6 weeks in advance right now. We tell people if they want to schedule to use that, schedule their airline appointment. But what it does then for that individual who's now taking their family to Disney World or whatever the case might be, is, you know, we can say to them, geez, you know, for the millage that you paid, we've been able to save you, I think last time I heard at the airport, it was and we were able to save you those dollars. So at least you're getting something back for that, for those taxes you pay. I'm not sort of waiting for that, I'll just pay taxes.
So that's a service that's available for anybody regardless of age, disability.
Yes, yes. Yeah, all of our services, because it's public transportation, if any of you called me tomorrow, or call our operation tomorrow, and said, I need to go to the grocery store, like my car's broke down, like whatever reason, if you don't have a cab reason to go ask why, you will get picked up, because I'm not allowed to discriminate anything. So I can't discriminate and say it's only for seniors and disabled, and I have to say it's available to everyone in the community now. Probably 65 or 70% of our riders are seniors and disabled.
I was actually joking with the mom the other day because I live outside of the zone. I'm like, I think I'm just going to park at grandma's house and have them pick me up there. It's
I
much
just want to
easier.
repeat if I can. I think it's important that we retain some of this money to help fund our own transportation. Right now, we are paying for these bus trips through the park and rent budget, which we're depleting their budget. And the fact that these monies are being returned to the communities because of the taxes that we pay, okay, that we should take full advantage of. The opportunity to reimburse ourselves for money that we are continually spending, out of our own budget.
Do you ever recall what portion we did retain on? I can only think back to the last 2 years, where I can vividly remember when we, giving the amount away. But do you remember what portion we were withholding before that?
Typically in the past, we would just retain one of the funds, not necessarily a dollar amount, but we would say retain the municipal, which this year would be $5,700, or we would retain the community, which would be $8,800. So we would typically just, and then over time, as that money, and we've also realized that over time, that if we didn't use the money and it started to accumulate, then we would give Richmond entities that lump. Because we don't want that to just, like we don't want to not use $3,000 this year, not use $2,000 next year, not use, and then that's,
So these credits aren't use it or lose it, there's no expiration on it, really, you don't have to.
I don't know what the rules are.
Yeah, it's just that technically they're supposed to be used in, 2 years.
Yes.
This says by June 30th of 2026, at least for the municipal credit fund.
And they don't technically enforce it very often. They prefer it to be used.
And I didn't come here for the purpose of negotiation, and if you're talking about retaining an entire amount of one of those funds, if I had my druthers, I'd ask the board to table it tonight and let a few of us sit down and discuss exactly what that would mean to the village with regard to our operation. Because I don't think, I thought I was fairly clear, but I tried to be as clear as I could to say, if you take an entire one of those funds, we will probably eliminate certain days. That would result in us eliminating certain days per week of service.
Right.
And we'd have to say, now we're not.
We want the same service from you.
Because when we started this, because the communities, some of them were offering a lot of their smart dollars and keeping some back, we would say to the communities, okay, you gave us Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, rate is Tuesday and Thursday. We literally had to get the parsing out. And then most communities realized, their residents wanted it every day.
And like I said,
then
I'd
they
be
said,
more
well,
than
we'll
happy to
give you the
come
money
and
to
sit
operate
down.
every day. But if that's the intent of the council, and I respect that, but I don't know if a public meeting is the proper place for us to work that detail out. I guess we can work it out anywhere, but I feel like maybe we want to have those conversations so we can, make some meaningful decisions about what that's going to mean to your service going forward. Because that would, what I thought, maybe we're talking about a couple of $1,000, I said, we'll figure something out. But when you're talking about, $5,000 or $8,000, again, that translates into really 10 or 16,000. Because it matches.
So, one of the things, you know, I've been kind of quiet, listening to everybody, asking the questions and giving opinions and whatnot. From my perspective, and I don't know if this is the right attitude to have or not, but the municipal credits and the community credits, you know, going to SMART, you're talking about disabled and elderly that are getting services. So there are individuals that are getting something out of the taxes, you know, the people that need it. And maybe I'm being naive, maybe I'm being too willy-nilly here, but my thought is that even if we were to average the $5,000 per year in bus trips, that's a drop in our general fund for us to be funding it ourselves. You know, if we're talking about withholding $5,000 from SMART to be able to provide a service to our elderly and our disabled, so that we can have nice bus trips to the Tigers games or to Cedar Point or to, you know, to anything like that. I mean, we're talking about fancy trips or service for elderly and disabled.
So it's livelihood, right? Balance is important, right?
Yeah, I mean, over $5,000 to me, it just doesn't seem like it's worth it to withhold the funds.
I would agree with you, despite the aggressive presentation about it, but I would agree with
I think we ought to have a meeting, a small committee meeting with Bonnie and Jeff. Because there's some things I want to say that I won't say at a public meeting, but I'm not going to sit here and support giving both of these away.
I'd like to see some more data personally.
Exactly. Absolutely.
And I'm happy to pull all the data from the last several years and make sure that you have all the information that you want. So if somebody will email me and tell me exactly what you're looking for, I'm happy to bring it. It's a technical meeting.
Sure. Okay, so it sounds like we'll set up a workshop. You want to do it that way? We can do it as a workshop?
However you want to do it.
Okay. Is there a deadline on when the contract and everything has to be?
No, I mean, we can work with you, you know, I mean, we want to be your partners in all of this, and we will work with you, having said that.
And usually like to have them by October, November.
But, and that's good for them. It's fine for me. But what I'm telling you is that Richmond Lung CMS and SMART operates on July 1st to June 30th.
Right.
The deadline. So, since July, I've been providing service for free. So suddenly, if we're going to make a dramatic change, I need to know that somewhat soon so I can start to figure out how to cut losses. Because we're, like I say, July, August,
Right.
you know, into September now, we're providing for nothing, we are not under contract with you. Now, we've done that as a good faith neighborly partner with all of our communities for years and years. My intent is to continue doing that, but I can't keep waiting and find out I'm going to have cash funds.
With all due respect, Mr. Wade, we just received this information
No,
the other day.
well, in fairness, we got these from SMART, and NICE within the last month. So SMART was a little slow getting to us, and we Richmond Lennox got them to you, I think, 2 days after we received them.
No, I would say we can't send them out until the final budget is passed in July, so.
I'll say, I don't think the intent of the question to ask about a deadline was to push this as long as we can, more so to identify any kind of urgency in needing to get you a decision on this. So with that being said, knowing that you've been providing service on good faith since July 1st, I think, at least from my point of view, I can understand and appreciate the urgency for needing to get to the bottom of this,
Right.
whether we issue the funds to you or not. So I don't think that was President Bison's intent when he asked the question, but certainly good to know.
And I mean, I'm happy to come out next week, week after, whenever everybody has time.
Let's do it as soon as possible.
So what I'm looking at, calendar, my personal calendar, but also has all the village meetings and whatnot on it. And it just kind of perked my interest here that next Tuesday is actually the Parks and Rec meeting. So maybe it would be beneficial to kind of piggyback off of Parks and Rec, so that we can have them involved as well while we're talking about bus services, since this is, something that directly impacts them. Could we do like, so their meeting is typically 6 to 7 p.m. I don't want to totally overlap the meeting. Could we do maybe like a 5:30 p.m.? Would that work? That'd be on Tuesday the 19th?
I can, I would have to be gone by 6:30. This time of year, there's like
Yeah.
11 communities and done this.
Sounds like this would take about
So
half.
my,
Yeah. I'm open for it to only be like a half hour,
Yeah,
5:30 to 6. And then we can just ask, we can
maybe
maybe
do
talk
5:30, like it's out, like to scoot out at 6:30.
Yeah. And then I can talk to Parks and Rec and see if they would like to attend, and just come in a half hour earlier.
well, I would want to mention about the 4 buses now to inform them like ahead of time. If we get 4 buses, like 10 passengers, we didn't know that, we were like shooting for certain.
So we've known about that this year, that it was an option, it's just, and I've brought it up a few times when we've talked about the bus trips. The only thing is that, that they're not the most comfortable buses,
Right.
so, I mean, if it's a long distance trip,
But like short ones like at Detroit
yeah.
games or Frankenmuth, that's not a long distance.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And we have used them, I will tell you, your school district is well aware of it, because we have provided, usually you guys took the run at the state basketball title, I think we provided the basketball team transportation to a great number of those away games.
They can do stuff like that we can't do.
Yeah, so somebody in the village knew enough about that to be using it at the school districts. I know we've taken soccer teams, we send them, it's later in the day when the dialysis trips and stuff are out, and we send them 4 buses to take a soccer team to wherever they.
And I'm sorry, you said the 19th at 5:30?
Yeah, 19th at 5:30, and here we go today, and we'll aim for it to only be a half hour long.
Yeah.
The data I'd be interested in is how many rides per week.
Okay. That's all we're going
We'll do our best. We run this, frankly, and I'm going to try to be as transparent with you as I can be. We run this on a shoestring. For 30,000 rides for $750,000, that is a shoestring budget by any account. We do our scheduling on an Excel spreadsheet. We don't keep a ton of data that would give you I can't go back and create data that I didn't already collect.
Okay,
Right? So you
that's
understand what data you hadn't been collecting, you can start with.
Right.
I haven't collected per week data. We send you, every member of this board gets from me once a month a count of by week for 4 weeks of the year, and your count throughout the year. You get that report every single month from me. So
I just thought you had that data.
No, unfortunately, we don't have a program. Those programs are very expensive, and when you start buying those programs, unfortunately, then you can't put as many buses on the road. So we have not bought, there are programs out there that will do it. We don't own them at Richmond Lennox EMS because we haven't been able to afford them.
And I don't think we would have that data.
No, because we don't provide it to you.
Right.
Okay. We will table this conversation then, and we will have a workshop on the Tuesday the 19th at 5:30. Clerk, what's that, if you could have it posted and all that for us?
Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next up on the agenda, under new business, we have citizen notification. In your agenda packet, I had, and thank you, Clerk Whitson, for consolidating all of this into one PDF. It actually is making this very nice and easy. So I have a memo that I wrote up. It was kind of rather lengthy. I apologize for that. Explaining the route that I went. So originally I started going down the path of how can we get more communication to the residents. Again, still electronically, but not through social media. So how do we get SMS, text message blasts, or something like that out to the residents and informing them. Started out with one company that had the ability of doing text messaging, and it was actually a two-way system. That was rather interesting. But it required the resident to reach out to a specific predefined number, and then they would get a response and kind of would then open up the communication that way. After that, I started Googling around and I stumbled upon GoGov. They are basically a mobile app that would be branded to the Village of New Haven. And when you set up the mobile app, you would be able to input a whole bunch of important links into the app. So it's basically just a springboard to the various pages of your website. And then by installing the app on your phone, it then gives the administrators of the mobile app, so whoever we assign to administrate it, they'd be able to push notifications to those phones. So now you're able to send out your boil water advisories or road closures. I actually reached out to, when they did the demo, they were talking about Howell uses it, the city of Howell, and they call it My Howell MI as the web app. You can download it, you can check it out, it's pretty cool. Just has a bunch of various links, and then whenever they send out a notification, you get it. I reached out to the mayor of Howell. He had nothing but great things to say about the app. He actually said that they ended up actually utilizing that to broadcast a tornado warning out to their residents in addition to the sirens and everything else. It was just one more mechanism for them to communicate with the residents. They said overall they've actually gotten really good feedback from the residents. And it makes it nice because with the web app, you can actually switch out whatever you want the links to be. So, you can have a link to utility billing on there, so people click it, and then that takes it right to where they can pay their water bill. Or you can have a link to the calendar of events, so people can click it and they can see all the events that are going on in the Village of New Haven. Or you can have a link to our staff directory with all the numbers that they can dial. So it would really just enable, just that much more transparency or that much more connectivity with the residents that they're able to just, almost everybody has a smartphone anymore. Everybody can install an app. You install the app, you have that ability to then get real quick access to timely resources. And overall, the unlimited, the subscription was $3,900 for the year for the web app. So this is, it was relatively, not that high of a bill considering what it would enable us to do. Any questions?
Would we be able to get any kind of feedback or data coming back on how many people utilize the app? If you like, you try it out for a year and if 4 people downloaded it, then
I do.
4 grand is not a deal anymore.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that they did have some metrics that they were able to see about how many people had downloaded it and how often it's being used, I think. I'm not 100% positive, but I believe they did have that metric. They did talk about also working with us. I don't remember if it was in the proposal. I think what was in there was pretty, let's see, I'm scrolling through that PDF. They talked about having a pretty well-rounded marketing strategy that they would work with the village. They talk about, you could do a banner with a QR code and put it on the side of your fire truck during the, homecoming parade. And they see the QR code, they scan it, and it takes them to the link to download the app. Just stuff like that, just to help promote, downloading it. You put it out onto the website and on social media, and they'll have branded, images and flyers and stuff like that, just to help spread the word. So,
But just the initial impression of it, everything, I don't see a downside to it, but I kind of want to know a year from now, how effective it is as a communication tool. If it's not very effective, then I kind of want to know, because if it's an annual subscription, you have to do it again next year.
Yeah, and I mean, since it is an annual subscription, if we were to adopt it, we could always say, let's revisit it a year from now.
Worth noting, it is on an auto renewal policy, so if we were to explore that option, we need to do it in advance of the renewal date.
Yeah.
I like the I like the notifications with respect to, like weather alerts and things of that nature, especially being in a community that has a somewhat higher density of manufactured homes. The ability to get warnings out to residents in a more timely fashion, I think offers a really nice benefit.
Yeah, it's, and I'm trying to see on here, they show in one of the bullets in the brochure, it says, publish everywhere with multi-channel publishing. Allows you to push content to the most vital channels, including mobile, email, Twitter, which we don't have a Twitter account, Facebook, and website. So what was really interesting, they were showing that, in the demo, they showed that when you select email, you could actually filter down to specific channels. So you could have people that opt into Parks and Rec updates, meeting notifications for council meetings. You could have like a newsletter or something like that, and it's all handled through this one interface. They kind of show it in the picture of the brochure, the road closure, expect delays, and that they show it on the phone. If you have the PDF in front of you. What they show on the mobile phone actually is also a website that they host. So you can actually link to it on Facebook, that same notification, you know, you could have that same notification across all of your channels.
Yeah, I see that the multi-channel publishing, so for us, essentially, you'd be looking at mobile, email, if people have opted in that manner, Facebook, you could link it to our New Haven, Village New Haven Facebook page, so we can post it through GoGov, it would push the same notification all channels
Exactly.
at once.
Yeah.
On top of mobile notifications to
Right.
people that have the app downloaded.
And you said that people would have control over the types of notifications, because if I'm getting 15 a day, I'm getting 15. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, so they have, there's the mobile notifications, I don't believe that people have like the ability to pick and choose. So those would be very limited, targeted notifications. We might need to, maybe we'll have to set up a policy just to make sure what exactly it is we decide we're gonna use as notifications for that. The email would be the one that I would be looking to, where it's an opt-in and you can actually have it be more targeted. Like Parks and Rec updates, we could do that more frequently.
It does say that they offer subscription lists which allow for citizens to sign up for the types of notifications that they want to receive.
Yeah, and from my understanding, all those subscription lists are just an email though.
Okay.
It's not for the mobile app.
Yeah, that's what I was getting for the,
Okay.
well, the push out.
Yeah, honestly, I'll be honest, when I saw this and went through the demo and saw what all they had, I was pretty geeked. I mean, you guys all know me, I'm a nerd, so I thought it was really cool. I almost wanted to pull the trigger. Technically, it's under that $4,000 spending limit, but I wasn't gonna do it. I was gonna bring it here and review it with council, because this is something that is affecting, all the residents on it.
So President Meister, so who's going to push the data in here to push it out to everyone?
Yeah, well, so setting up of the app, I'll probably work with Genevieve Rodzik and some of the ladies in the office. And then what I was planning on doing is that if it did pass tonight, we'll probably have to designate somebody in the office to be the administrator of the app and the notification system. So we'd either have, one of the clerical staff that could be the gatekeeper.
So that would limit the notifications, so it'll only be Monday through Friday from 9 to 5.
We can, because it's cloud-based, if I had access, I'd be able to do it. From what I remember, there was also unlimited users that you could set up for it, or you can set up multiple users. So we would have the ability to send out the notifications anytime of the day. Like if this passes, I would look to give, Chief Steer access for being able to send out notifications, in case of a, life and death situation, that he'd be able to utilize this as well.
We just need a good policy.
Yeah, we gotta plan that part out. Yeah.
So if I'm reading right, the first year, it's $4,800, but for the first year, if there was a setup fee, it would be $72, right?
No,
So there's
that's,
You might have looked at the text
Yeah,
items.
Oh, yeah.
The GOCA annual quote was $3,900,
With no set fee.
no setup fee.
I was thinking the same thing.
Really confusing, don't go, don't want to text my God.
Yeah, the text my gov was the one that was, and I actually had talked to the village president of Romeo, and she said they did not have a good take rate on that one. The other one was in the packet. Any other questions?
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for approval of council to enter into the contract in the amount of $3,900 with GOCA.
I'll make a motion to enter into a contract with GOGO in the amount of $3,900 for the citizen notifications alert system.
Support.
We're going to review it after the year. Are you adding that in there to review after?
Well, yeah, and clerk, what's that, if we can we set up some sort of reminder for, let's say, July, so it's in advance?
Yep,
Can we do that?
I can hear it, I'll look at it.
All right, we have it moved and supported, roll call?
Trustee Fetchings?
Yes.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero? Yes. Trustee Burkholder?
Yes.
Trustee Noah?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Oh, yes.
I was like, man, there's an echo there.
Isn't it mine?
Yes. All right. Thank you. All right. Item C, ZBA hearing sign variance request for HP Properties.
It's just a set the hearing.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry, let's try and remember what this was for. So we have a request for another ZBA meeting to set a hearing for, typically we've been doing them prior to the council meetings. Is everybody in favor of setting a public hearing to be prior to the October meeting?
We're looking at a half hour here, an hour.
I think we did a half hour last time.
We did. Yeah, so it'll be 6:30 on October.
I'll move to set the ZBA hearing for a sign variance request for October 10th at 6:30 PM.
Support. It's been moved and supported, all in favor?
I have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Discussion on the motion.
Thank you. This right here is another prime example why I oppose the council sitting at ZBA. Okay? That applicant is gonna come before us, is gonna give us his 5 minutes, and we're gonna approve it. It's sure them sitting there. Okay? We're gonna approve it because we don't have the time, or are not gonna take the time to see what the ZBA question is. I truly believe that any zoning issue should first go through planning, and if need be rejected, and then go to ZBA, who's gonna do the homework, and their recommendation will come to council. Right now, we sit as the ZBA, and we're not gonna do the homework that needs to be done when it comes to these zoning appeals. I just want that to be said, that's all.
You know, and I will echo your sentiments. The longer that I've been going through, so I have the master planner training with MSU Extension, and right now I'm actually going through the ZBA training through MSU Extension that they offer. It's a self-paced training, and they actually highly discourage your legislative board to be the ZBA.
Shouldn't that be?
They actually really encourage it to be a separate board. So,
So next month, you're gonna have,
well, so we have, we have this application that's here before us. The question is, you know, even if we were to try to set up a separate ZBA committee, you know, we would want to have them be adequately trained as well to set up expectations.
Didn't we change the ordinance?
That's what I'm
Right,
saying.
we would have to have an ordinance amendment and everything like that. It's a multi-process.
Is planning working on changing the sign ordinance first, do you know what?
No, we're just, no. We've touched on a few issues that have come up because we know that the ordinance that was adopted, we, no way that we touch everything that is possible. So as things come up, we have those conversations.
I thought John was working on coming up with an amendment to the sign ordinance though for this.
John is working on, John brought something to us last month, last week, and just touching on a few issues, so we haven't got down to that, where we actually are digging right back into the ordinance. So we're just kind of addressing the issues as they come up and having those conversations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the
This is
changes he was
the second one.
proposing is this.
Yeah, that's one of them,
Yeah.
yeah. But we haven't got to that point yet. And so these issues still come before us, you know, like on a regular basis now. I mean, it's been like one a month, you know, and I don't know.
This is the second one for this.
This will be the third one that we've had for this.
Is it
Third sign ordinance, yeah.
We had Tractor Supply Co.
Oh, yeah.
And then we just had the one a couple months ago and then this one.
And we should have another one.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And
Do we want to pause on this and we can do both?
It's not finished yet.
And I'm kind of in favor of the same thing, because the way it was presented to us when we voted on it and the way it's actually playing out don't line up. So it's not the 1 every 2 year kind of thing that was kind of sort of presented to us, and
Well, and
I'm in favor of going back.
I always thought it was weird the way it was presented to us, because I mean, really all you gotta do is we just say ZBA is gonna be the fourth week of the month. It's an open Tuesday. So you have your set schedule that anybody that's on the ZBA would actually know that's what I'm signing up for, the fourth week of the month. And if you don't have anything, then you cancel it. But it's at least on the book, it's on the schedule, you know, then everybody knows what the expectation is, that's when we're meeting. Then it's kind of ad hoc, like, oh, we gotta set up a meeting date.
You just gotta get the right people, that's all.
Yeah, one of the things that I did notice though with the MSU extension for the ZBA training, because we are a population over 5,000, we have to have a ZBA of 5 members instead of 3.
You got that.
I think we were only 3 last time, weren't we?
Because I took minutes for the
Oh, we were
ZBA
fine.
board before.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, all that said, you know, we have an application in front of us. Do we, I mean, we're talking about if we were to separate, which I'm 100% in favor of, but it would have to be an ordinance amendment.
That would be independent of this applicant's, but we got to continue to go through with this applicant here, and then that's something for us to work on going forward.
That's where I was going
I
with
mean,
that.
I don't want to make anybody wait because
Right.
we have voted longer.
All right. Any further discussion on the current motion of setting the hearing date? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? I will work with Attorney Addis for a proposed ordinance change on that to bring to the October meeting. And then we'll have that 30-day public review period and then vote on it in whatever comes after October, November. All right. Next on the agenda was setting Ways and Means meeting for water and sewer rates. So Matt, did you want to talk about this? I think, did Sandy talk to you today?
Good evening. I talked to her a few days ago. She mentioned that it's going to be on the agenda. So her and I, Marcus, were working on the water and sewer rates. So we did some analysis, we got some historical data. And we'd like to set up a meeting with Ways and Means to bring it back to the council for approval.
So what I would like to propose, though, is that instead of doing it as a Ways and Means meeting, I would like to propose that we actually do this as a workshop
Thank you.
Good idea.
of all council. And I will give credit where it's due, that was Sandy's recommendation. She did not want to do it as a Ways and Means meeting. She wanted it to be a workshop type meeting. So if we could, is there a certain days of the week that are better for you?
I'll make myself available.
Okay. So if we were to do this, we would want to do this before the October meeting. I'm not sure if anybody has a specific date they want to throw out or evening they want to throw out.
So if there's an amendment to the water and sewer rates, do you need a grace period before the October meeting to be published or not? Or you can just bring it
Well,
on?
if it's just a workshop, you can't make any decisions at the meeting. It would have to be presented at the October meeting to make changes.
Yeah.
That's what I meant, on the October, do you need to publish it before that? Or not?
Well, we wouldn't be able to publish any changes until it's voted on by council to make the change.
Yeah, so it would have to be, the process would start in October.
Yes.
So really, you just want the workshop to be done before the October meeting?
Yes. Yeah. Did we want to do the workshop? So we're talking about doing the public hearing at 6:30. Did you want to do it same day as the council meeting prior to the ZBA? Did you want to do it the day before? I mean, to some extent, it would be kind of nice if it was shortly before the October meeting, just so then when we're at the October meeting, it's fresh on our minds. But I don't know what flexibility everybody has.
The last week of September?
Last week of September.
Tuesday, Wednesday?
You want to do Tuesday, the 26th? Does that work for everybody? Let's do the regular time of 7 p.m. or do you want it earlier? What's thoughts? Like 7?
I don't have a job. For selfish reasons, is Wednesday available for others or no?
I cannot,
Okay.
but that, I mean, if I get all the information, I mean, I understand it, so if I got all the information, then I could be here, it would be okay. Because that is what it is.
Sure.
Thursday?
Wednesday, the 27th.
I'm not available, I'm sorry.
Look at this.
Tuesday the 26th. Yeah, Tuesday
Tuesday the
the
26th?
Always on Tuesday.
All right, Tuesday the 26th at 7 p.m.
So, okay.
I'll make sure we get that close.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next on the agenda, under new business, we have invoice cloud utility tax payments. So this is another one that I'm a little excited about. Unfortunately, there's only one. So to give the background, one of the frequent complaints that I've always heard from residents is that just when we go to pay our bills, the convenience fee is excessive. I just went to look to see how much it would be if I pay my water bill. I think I had it in the memo. For my $239 water bill for last month, it's a $9 convenience fee to pay it by credit or debit. What's really interesting is reaching out to other communities. It seems like they have different rates that they get from Point and Pay. So I'm not sure how ours was established or why we have a higher convenience fee than others, but so it started me down a path of looking to see at what else is out there. Come to find out, there are only actually 2 payment processors that have the full integration with BS&A. There's Point and Pay, who we currently have, and then there's Invoice Cloud. Point and Pay, they are just payment processing. That's what they do, and they do it well. Although a little bit on the expensive side to the residents. The other provider, Invoice Cloud, they're more focused on the customer experience. You go in, you log in, you create an account with Invoice Cloud, you set up a billing or a payment method, whether it's credit, debit, Venmo, PayPal, whatever, and then you save that into your account. When you go to pay your bill, it has a nice little checkbox, auto pay. And moving forward month to month, every time you get your water bill, it'll automatically deduct from that payment source that you set up. You can do, like I said, you can do the credit, debit, Venmo, PayPal, you can set up your e-check, so it could be taken out of a bank account directly, which is a lower convenience fee. Otherwise, the credit, debit, and all that is a flat 3.25%. So comparing to that water bill, Point and Pay fee, theirs was 9, Invoice Cloud's at the 3.25% is 7 3/4 roughly. So it's a little bit cheaper to the residents, but the biggest thing is that you can actually finally set up auto pay. You can set up paperless billing. So you can get your water bill through your email instead of getting the notice in the mail. For every, there is a charge that is involved when you do that, but it's offsetting the charge of the printing, the postage, the labor of doing the water bill from our clerical staff.
Well, can I ask you a question about that?
Sure.
So how are they gonna do that?
So
You're saying it's gonna eliminate the paper, postage and labor, but not everybody's gonna opt into that.
it'll incrementally. So for right now, let's say,
Oh, because it talks to our software.
yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, so like right now, basically, let's just to make it easy, let's say we're sending out 1,000 water bills. If 10 people opt in, now we're only printing and sending out 990. So we're saving on 10 people's water bills postage. We're not having to print off as many water bills. We're not having to, mail out as much. So, and I mean, the 25 cents per bill, that's less than the postage that we spend. So, the fee that is involved with it is $350 a month for having the service. That's $4,200 annually, and then $360 a year for the encrypted card reader. So that is the fee that would be involved by having this. So the option would be that we either stay with Point and Pay, or if we switch over to this Invoice Cloud, we'd kind of just be bringing everything more into current technology, having the ability to pay your bill. They also, and I think, let me see if they had it in here. The PDF, unfortunately, it switches it. There's they have what they call IVR. So they actually have a number that you can call, and you can actually pay your bill over the phone as well. It's a integrated voice receptionist, I think is what they call IVR, if I remember correctly. So you can actually pay your bill over the phone. So it would also then alleviate the calls to our clerical staff. Hey, I want to call, pay my bill, and then I'm having to go and do it that way. So, there's just a lot of benefits to this. The biggest thing that I thought that was really beneficial is just the auto pay. There's so many people that they either set up the e-check so that they have an amount that's automatically deducted from their bank account and sent to the village every month based off of their historical usage, and hopefully it's the right amount. Hopefully it covers the bill. If you're not paying attention, it might not be enough. We've had residents where they weren't so good at paying attention, and then they got a late fee. So it's just the auto pay takes all that out of it. It's just you have the auto pay ability.
For those of us that do have the bank send a check on our behalf, is that unchanged?
That's unchanged, yeah. Yeah, and it really doesn't change anything for any of the residents that want to write a check and come to the office, or if they want to mail it in, or if they want to drop it off in the Dropbox. None of that will change. This would really strictly just be for the folks that want to have that electronic ability to pay their bill online.
What do we currently pay Point Pay?
We do not pay Point and Pay anything. The cost that we have with Point and Pay is what they charge the residents. So yeah, that is the big caveat, is that we don't have to pay Point and Pay anything right now. It's the residents that are incurring the fee when they do their bill.
Do you know what we pay in postage per water bill?
I don't know what we pay on postage per water bill, that'd be a Sandy question, but I do vaguely remember that, the last water bill that we sent out, one of the last water bills that we sent out where there was the snafu with, the printing, and it arrived, a lot of them arrived like, the ink was all smudged. If I remember correctly, I wanna say Sandy said that our water bill cost the bill, like, to do a mail out is like $600 or $700. That's what I want to say. It's a rough number though. Does that sound
I know
right?
there's a lot of work behind mailing those cards.
Yeah, there is. There is the, you know, the labor behind it. There's, and we print them here locally, the water bill.
Print them 4 up, and they separate them, and then they stack them in stacks of certain numbers to send them to the post office.
Yeah, I know I'm always approving the invoice for postage.
And then we're paying for the ink for printing all of those as well.
Right, it's the ink, yeah, we're printing them
Still do that
ourselves.
though, because you're not gonna get 100%, which is an
Right,
issue.
right,
So-
right.
No.
You're not gonna complete that cost entirely.
Not entirely, no. You're gonna get, you know, however many people that are gonna opt into this.
And I know I tried to see if we could go to a different system, because then we could use our water bill as our notification system
Right.
as well. But there was some pushback, because I guess they got 1.5 million of these postcards.
Oh, changing just the
Yeah.
way that we do the postcard. Yeah, so I know that we do postcard because it's cheaper than doing a regular letter. But for the payment processor, for the online payment, you know, and all that, the only 2 options are Invoice Cloud or Claim Pay.
I have a question. So with the GoGov, I thought there'd be a link on there to click on to pay the water bill.
Yes.
So why would you need both? Because if this is gonna take,
So that link, instead of linking to the Point and Pay portal that we currently have. So like right now, when you go to the village website, you go to your utility billing to pay your water bill. That takes you to the BSNA software, and then you find your account and you enter in, and then you click the button and it takes you to that third-party payment processor. That's Point and Pay's website. That's where you're actually filling out your credit card information or your bank information. So instead of that, the link on the mobile app would be to the Invoice Cloud.
So you have to subscribe to a collection company in order for that option to work on GoGov.
In order to take payments electronically.
No, they're two.
Because this GoGov has a thing that you can pay bills on.
That's a link to pay your bill.
Yeah.
That's just like a link to the website.
Oh,
This is the website that link will take you to.
Right.
What he's trying to say.
I
Right.
see, okay.
Yeah, the mobile app where they talk about, let's see, where was it that you saw that? Was that where I had it just in my email or in my
Because
mind?
they charge like $3 plus 3%, something like that fee.
That's the Invoice Cloud.
Yes. No, that was on this GoGov. Convenience fees. GoGov products that manage credit card processing will add a convenience fee of $3 plus 3% per transaction to offset the cost of online processing.
yeah, so why people use that? So they'll do the same type of.
But
That must be, I'm not sure, that, oh, you know what, for GoGov, manage credit card processing, yeah, that must be for something else. GoGov has a whole bunch of different products that they offer. I have a feeling, because they're saying GoGov products that manage credit card processing, the mobile app doesn't do mobile processing.
Are they able to do something with the water bill link and?
They don't integrate with BSNA. BSNA, there are only 2 payment processors that they have for the utility billing and taxes, is Point and Pay or Invoice Cloud.
I don't know,
Can
I just
talk?
know
Oh, go ahead.
that majority banks and credit unions, they offer free bill pay. So there, that's no charge, that's how I pay my water, because I don't have any checks. But, and that's at no charge, so $4,000 will pay for those buses.
It's true.
Yeah, Tracy, I do that too, but I have to go in every month and tell my bank to send the check. This is set up automatically, it gives you the payment, and then it would automatically do everything for you. So it's like I said, it and forget account. Like I have my DTE set up to automatically withdraw each month, I have to go in and manually tell my bank to send my water bill payment.
Right, I don't disagree with that. I have to go in and
Yeah.
automatically do it too.
This would set it up similarly where you just set it up and it would automatically happen for you. For a fee.
Can I add a couple numbers real quick?
Sure.
So, at a glance, 4,200 plus the $360, so a little over $4,500 annually, $4,560 annually for the service seems like a large sticker for what seems to be incremental savings. The 3.25% flat rate probably should not be understated. The reason I say that is, what's the average water bill in the community? Is it safe to say 125, 100?
Yeah,
Say it.
5 minutes is our average.
So call it $125. On Point and Pay, if I was to pay a $125 bill through Point and Pay, it's a $6 fee. $3 under 100, over 100, $6, over 200 is $9, okay? We have about 1,800 rooftops in the village, so about 1,800 water bills. Is that a pretty safe estimate?
Yeah.
Relatively speaking, right? So you're talking about 18, so let's say the average bill is $125, that's a $6 service fee at 1,800 bills. 1,800 bills times $6 is $10,800 using Point Pay. If every resident was paying on Point Pay, I understand they're not. So I'll adjust it and say 75% of the people are using Point Pay and paying over the phone, okay? So you're talking about, still an $8,100 out of residents' pockets by using Point and Pay. All right? If you were to switch over to Invoice Cloud, now you're talking about a $125 water bill. Instead of paying $6, you're paying 3.25%, which is $4.06 as opposed to $6. Multiplied by 1,800 rooftops is $7,312.50 plus an adjustment like I made to the Point and Pay system of 25% of people that are paying like Trustee Bunkowski and using their bill pay. $5,484.38. So in the village pockets, that's $2,615.63 per month.
But this fee is now coming out of their pockets, they have the new system.
The fee is coming out of their pockets annually in the amount of $4,560. $2,615.63 is monthly. Multiply that by 12, and you're talking about over $31,000 back in the village residents' pockets.
Assuming they were using.
Assuming 75% of the residents were using Point and Pay, paying a $6 fee to pay a $125 water bill. Correct. So it's a lot of money back in the residents' pockets. You're talking about $2 essentially, $2 a month times 12, $24 a month per water bill, $24 a year per water bill being paid by the residents. Give or take, I'm kind of estimating a little bit, but the 3.25% flat rate is pretty significant from a per household basis. When you consider the fact that you immediately shoot up to a $101 water bill is paying a 6% fee essentially, right? That's pretty significant. I just wanted to make that point. There's some pretty significant savings with that flat fee as opposed to the tiered fee.
Yeah. When COVID hit, I tried to negotiate with Point and Pay to get them to lower their convenience fee.
Yes.
And they flat out told us that if we were to lower the convenience fee, the village would have to pay a portion of it. That they wouldn't be willing to, that they wouldn't be willing to lower the convenience fee. So it's kind of, it's a catch-22. I mean, do we have a lot of residents that use electronic payment? That I'm not sure what.
Yeah, I think there is something like 75% factor was.
Yeah,
close to
75 I'm
accurate.
sure is way too high.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't use the electronic simply because of how high the fee is. Whereas lowering the fee, maybe you get the take rate to be a much higher because now it's a little bit more affordable, and it gives you the paperless billing option, and it gives you the auto pay option, set it, forget it, you know,
yeah.
that might be worthwhile.
Is this option charging me a quarter a month to go paperless?
What's that?
It's a 25-cent fee to go paperless.
So it would be charging the village 25 cents for every bill that is paperless. But what I was saying is that that's offset, so by doing that, you're offsetting what the village is paying for printing that paper bill, mailing it out, the labor. So there's, you know,
There's a savings occurring there by going paperless.
incrementally, there's
Sure.
a savings to the village,
Probably
but
not.
also a cost to the village.
And you don't know how many people pay right now for them?
I do not know what the percentage is of how many people are paying electronically. That's it.
Even if it's half, like if you take it down to half, the savings is still there. I mean, you're talking $30,000, I'm guessing at 75%. You drop it down to 50%, say half, you have to. That's quite a bit.
Even half of being generous because of the fees that
Well, like I said,
Plain
once
Jane's paying.
if you make it less expensive to pay that way, then people are more apt to pay that way.
So it's 3.25%? Is that what it is?
Yeah, a flat fee, a flat rate of 3.25%.
Checks to cover that.
Yeah, I mean, the water bill is the only, it's honestly the only check that my household writes. We do write the check and drop it, well, now I just bring it with me.
I enjoy writing that check.
You enjoy writing check?
Go ahead and bring it up here.
Yeah, bring it up,
A
yeah.
lot of people do.
Yeah.
They do.
I'll continue.
So just for numbers' sake, even if it was as low as 25% utilizing Plain Pay, you're talking about $871.87 in savings per month. So annually, you're still over $10,462.44 annually in savings if only 25% of the village is utilizing Point Pay, and we make the choice to switch to invoice collect.
Saving the residents that much money.
But that's collectively as a group.
Across the entire community,
Because
yes.
in reality,
You're talking about a couple bucks a person.
$39 a year is what I would
Sure.
say if I used it.
Sure.
Right.
Or, I'm sorry, let me take that back. It would cost me $39 a year if I used it.
Yes.
Compared to what you're doing right now.
Correct.
True. But for the user that is using Point and Pay for all of their water bills, that's where it would save.
Right.
And
It just-
for
it
you,
sounds like
And you can still do your bill
saving- I
pay.
mean, the village is saving, but we're not really.
it's, right, no, it's not that we're saving the village any money, it would be the residents that are choosing to use Plain Pay or are choosing to use the electronic format, it would be saving them. For you for those that are writing the checks, they can still write the checks, there's no change there. For those that want to use their bank pay, they can still do that, no change there. This is really just for the folks that choose to utilize online bill pay.
Yeah. Otherwise, everything else remains the same.
The nice part is that, if you do opt into this or you set up an account, even if you don't, and actually, that's maybe something that I also didn't mention, is that technically you could log in, you could set up an account and not pay a bill through Invoice Cloud, but you could choose, I believe you can choose to go paperless. And you can also then, once you have the account created, with the paperless, they'll send you reminders about your water bill being due. So you get the email reminders letting you know, hey, your water bill's due, and try to lower the amount of late fees or people that are late. So there's some benefits, but no doubt about it, there is a cost to the village if we were to make the switch. from residents that they were wanting to have automatic, an auto bill pay option, paper, and the paperless billing, so unfortunately, when I went out and looked for the options, there was only 2 options.
I would like to think that if we were to move over to the invoice cloud system, that even if the estimate of 25% is correct, we probably see a pretty considerable uptick in people using the service with a lower fee at 3 to 4%.
Yeah, there's always those instances where you forget to pay your bill, and it's, even if you forget to pay your bill and it's, 5 o'clock at night, if you want to, you have to log in and pay it, so that you get it in. Right now, you're paying the high convenience fee, so you'll be able to pay lower.
You looking for a motion on this?
Yeah, the motion would be to enter into an agreement with Invoice Cloud, at the
Terms outlined in the agreement.
Yeah, terms outlined in the agreement, because there are, a couple of terms in here as far as the, what you PDF. So
We get some data for how many people you pay online now.
you want to table it and get that data?
I think I would be more comfortable with that. I mean, I would be pleased if you came in and told us 80% of the people do, then I feel confident about it. But if you come back and say, 10% of people use that system, then I think you.
Okay. Yeah, we will table that until next month. I will get that information and bring it back. There's no urgency at all on this, so this is just something that was bringing forward.
I mean, if you have enough, if there's a majority of people that are comfortable with it as well, I mean, it's not just about.
I think that's probably the most responsible approach. Anyways, I like the idea of the invoice cloud system. I'm never going to turn down more data to support a decision.
Exactly, yeah. I think that's a good idea. Okay. Alrighty, item F, legal update from our attorney.
Well, the good news, I can do this in about 35 to 40 minutes, so.
Second.
If you want, I can cut it down to maybe 25. All right. Today, we argued in the Michigan Court of Appeals in Detroit, the case about this building. 3-person panel, our argument is that the lease should be voided as a matter of public policy. It was entered into under a cloud of potential fraud. It is overreaching on part of the landlord, and overbearing on the taxpayers, and it has been a burden on this community forever. They listened very intently. They asked very few questions. They seemed to be very aware of the issues. And I wish I could tell you I had a read on what they would do, but I do not. Very stoic. Some panels will ask you questions. Their questions were more procedural, like what date did this happen? What date did that happen? Clearing up facts. That argument was presented. Second part, we are working with an expert about the problems with the recent problems with this building that have occurred or at least appeared after this first lawsuit was filed. This is a completely different legal issue. This issue, we could not have known this until it started to collapse. I mean, we couldn't go around and look inside of the makings of this building to know just how poorly it was built and how outside of building standards, commercial building standards, it was erected under. And we are expecting that report within about a week. What we did is we found an independent, not in any way related to New Haven or to my law office or to any of us, to come in, read the reports, and there are many now that exist, from us at the insurance company, and give us an opinion as to how bad this building is, what we should do with it, and whether in any way we could have known about that. The difference being that these are concealed problems, because we don't want to be, if we lose the first lawsuit, we don't want to be cut out of the second one on the grounds that we should have known. I talked to that expert today, and his words to me were, there's no way in the world you could have known. And that's the opinion we're waiting for, so I would think by the next meeting, there will be some decisions that need to be made. So I'm a little less than 30 minutes, but unless there's questions, I'm done.
Any questions? All right, thank you, sir. All right, that brings us to call from the floor. Remember, limited to 3 minutes.
Oh, had to wake me up back here. I just want, I'm going to walk back, but anyway, just to the board. I've heard everything that Mr. White said, and I disagree with, and I say I disagree with, I disagree with some of his saying that services would be cut. The question to them would be, were any service, the question came from somebody up here, but was any services cut or any bus trips or whatnot? The question should have been to him, would any service, he said services would be cut maybe, or maybe we'd have to go to different days or what have you. Listen, when we didn't give them the money, no services was cut, and we continue to add those services. Last year or a year before, whenever the community, the municipal credits was actually given to Mr. White now, and I know that's what it was, because community credits is that you can use it anywhere. The municipal credits are what's used in the Tri-County area. Listen, and also, I know Mr. Gilbert had mentioned about the trips going outside of the state. We've always took trips outside the state. Even using smart funds, and using the smart funds from the borderline of Michigan, the bus driver would bill us separately from Michigan state line to, if we went to Ohio, to Ohio, that difference would be done, and they paid separately from that. But the rest of the funds came out of the smart funds. The smart trips, and I sat on this board for over 20 years, and we've always used the smart funds for our parks and recreation. And I'm telling this board, I'm asking this board, to not let them run a game on you. And as long as we live in Lennox, we're going to get the services that they provide to Lennox. And if he has to cut back on services, he's not cutting back on services just for the village of Maiden. He has to do it for the whole Lennox Township. I'm going to call, and I got her number, Bonnie, because and Bonnie's good. And I'm not saying that he's taking advantage of Bonnie or they're taking advantage of Bonnie, but I know how smart has been ran, and those changes have not been done. I've talked to many people that work for Smart. Those changes have not been done. One of the other things is that why are our funds going to Lennox when the municipal credits and community credits come to the village? The village, those funds would come to the village, and then if you wanted to get them to them, it sounds to me that the funds are going straight to Jeff. Those funds are supposed to come straight to the village of New Haven. And there's a contract that the village of New Haven signs, and also there's he talked about giving other trips or you can get 4 buses. Also, Smart, in that contract, Smart will provide you 1 bus a year for a trip.
3 minutes.
I thought you were saying hi.
No.
But I'm not done with that.
All right. Thank you, sir. Any other call from the floor, chief? All right. Call from the table.
I have to say good selection for the,
Oh, yeah, thank you.
good
Yeah,
choice, very, very nice.
yeah. That one, honestly, when I saw the DIA, the 3 options, that one, when she first brought it up on the screen, it gave me goosebumps. I thought that one was pretty powerful.
And then anything about the survey of the wetlands for the acres over there?
We have not had anything back from Lombardo regarding that. They said they were going to be doing the survey in August. I know that they mowed and they had some crews that were back there, but I don't know if they've gotten the results.
And I also have to make a comment on the speed limits and these signs and stuff. Wow, I think it has everybody confused because a lot of speeding and not speeding, ramming on people's tails and stuff, so very poor choices of speed limits. Just have to put that
I
out
would agree with that.
there.
I think the state police will.
Just, I can't tell you how I was driving, I can't even go 40 miles per hour. I mean, you can't even get that fast enough, right at the stop sign. Someone's on my tail, just flying, like, oh my gosh, like, it's dangerous. It wasn't there an accident also by Marion Academy yesterday, also for the speed limit, I think. It was posted on Facebook, there was a bad
I
accident.
heard that there was an accident, yeah, at the intersection.
They're all different speed limits, 35, 45.
Go to the railroad track, doing 45.
I tried just to see if I could do it, there's no way. So, just look at them on
And going back to the service of Smart, I use their service, and you can't call the day of, the day before and you're riding. You have to call weeks at a time to schedule it.
Yeah, same with the airport. You have to be with them at that time in the airport.
All right, any other call from the table?
And you're gonna hear me.
From the table. All right, motion's in order.
So moved.
Support.